From beautiful downtown Prestonsburg, Kentucky, it's the MWO podcast on Patreon. Hosted by one half of the ballers and shot callers of horror talk radio, a man who's been creepy as fuck since 1980, it's the Creepy Kentuckian. Take it away, Bulls.
Howdy folks, it's the Creepy Kentuckian here with you on the October 20th edition of the MWO podcast on Patreon. And good buddy of mine, Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous. What's going on, dude?
It's great to be back here with you. It's been a while, so I look forward to tackling all the awesome topics we got going on this week.
One of the big things, though, this week that I definitely wanted to talk about, and a lot of people are just going completely ape shit about this. Rob Zombie, I think this was on Monday, posted, since Halloween is rapidly approaching, it's the perfect time to meet the Munsters. Direct from the set in good old Hungary, Rob Zombie presents Herman, Lily, and the Count sitting in front of the newly completed 1313 Mockingbird Lane. So you're seeing the characters for the first time in makeup. It's all in black and white. Now I'm wondering, is this movie going to be completely shot in black and white? I hope so. I really do, because that when you try to do the Munsters in full color, I instantly think of those made-for-TV movies they did in the 90s. I honestly think that that's what Herman looks. Hey, Herman Munster looks like the dude that did. Who was it? It was Edward Herman, I think, that played Herman Munster in the 90s movies. So I don't really have a huge problem with it, but a lot of people are just going crazy about it. They were still somehow shocked that Sherry Moon is starring in the movie. I don't know why, because she's been in every Rob Zombie movie that he's ever made, I think.
I think people were more surprised that she was Lily, and they thought that she would play Marilyn, the daughter, with her hair.
She's 50. She's in her 50s, so
yeah. I didn't have a problem with it. I was more surprised that they're filming this in Hungary, considering that the house is like still standing on the back lot in Hollywood. So that was surprising. The other thing is, after Halloween 2 did not do very well theatrically, he did 31, which was, I believe, a Kickstarter. And then, of course, he did 3 from Hell, which got postponed. If it had been earlier, Sid Haig, of course, would have had the third lead. So his films have been getting progressively more and more low budget. So for him to get this, which is going to be a huge thing on Paramount Plus, to be able to shoot in Hungary and yet still have the cast he wants to work with, I'm really curious to see this first trailer, because remember back in the day when we heard Tim Burton was going to do Dark Shadows, and I know you just did a video about the documentary about one of the actors in Dark Shadows, and we all thought, wow, Tim Burton in Dark Shadows, this is going to be like Sleepy Hollow, it's going to be epic and vicious. And then we saw the trailer and it was like, what is this? Like campy and ridiculous. I'm curious, is this going to be Rob Zombie's take on the Munsters, or is this going to be him sort of doing what Eli Roth when he tipped his toe in and did The House with the Clock in its Walls? He's going to do a family-friendly thing, which I would believe that's what Paramount Plus wants. We know Rob Zombie's a big fan because there's a Blu-ray for Munsters Go Home, and he did a commentary for that movie. I have not heard it yet, but I mean, the fact that Rob Zombie's doing a commentary on a Munsters movie, I mean, he's obviously a big fan. And of course, then when they did that, I believe it was you that mentioned the MTV Cribs episode with Rob Zombie, and he's got Munster stuff all over his house. So I don't think he's going to go in here trying to, F this up.
I don't either, actually. And I don't usually have much faith in Rob Zombie, but I think that he's going to give it his all. He's going to pay respect to the original show. I am almost positive that he hates all of the, they had the Munsters TV show reboot in the 80s, the made-for-TV movies in the 90s. So it looks like, just by what I can tell in that photo, that he is trying his best to make it as accurate to the original Munster show as possible. I'm not a gigantic fan of the show. I mean, I've watched it. You know, I'm not an expert on the Munsters, but obviously he is. I mean, he's at least a big fan. And I think that he said a couple of times that the original Munsters movie from the 60s was one of his favorite films of all time. It could suck. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. But if I was a betting man, which I'm not because I'm too cheap, I won't gamble. But if this doesn't rejuvenate Rob Zombie's directing career, there's nothing that will. I don't think there's another project that will, that can be that sort of hit. I think this has the possibility of making a ton of money for Paramount if they're going to do, I don't know if they're going to do a theatrical run for this as well. We'll wait and see. He's bringing in a lot of familiar faces from, some of his other movies. Jeff Phillips, Dan Roebuck, both of those guys have been in numerous Rob Zombie movies. Sherry has pretty much only done Rob Zombie movies.
Except for that Tobe Hooper film, Toolbox Murders. She's in the very beginning of that.
Yeah, she's like got a cameo in that. But, I just didn't go completely bonkers over the photo like a lot of people because number one, I kind of expected Sherry to be Lily Munster.
Sure. I'm actually more of an Addams Family person, so I really didn't have a lot of investment in this. But real quick, if I'm a betting man, I think Rob Zombie is going to put in a laugh track into this thing. He's that kind of guy.
He could. It is going to be just one movie, right?
I believe so, unless they're going to do sort of a 10-episode limited thing. I mean,
because maybe anymore, it seems like a lot of these streaming services, they want the content there to do the series. I mean, it may be a little bit easier on Rob to do it, but I don't know. Either way, I'm interested in seeing how this all comes together. He's never really done anything that's kind of like a comedy or sitcom type stuff. So we'll just have to see on it. But I gotta say, I was not. It didn't piss me off like a lot of things.
No, and I mean, this is a guy that secretly snuck in a animated film back in the late 2000s too, and people completely have forgotten about the haunted world of El Super Bisto.
Yeah, I mean, that barely came out. It was just on DVD, right? So,
yeah, but I remember online they were really hyping it up. It's like, he's going to do his next animated film, and then it pretty much went straight to DVD. But still, I mean, he's got a directorial credit on an animated feature.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe, and if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification. Right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do.
I want you to. I don't care. Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell. Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPitOnPatreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.